Alright, it is I, and I'm here to teach you how to calculate damage. So let's see, just for reference, let's pick something that does quite a bit of damage. I'm going to say someone that's rather easy to calculate, W Dawn's skill 3. Okay, so W Dawn's skill 3 has a base power of 1, and coin power of 6 when you have 10 charge, and 5 coins total. So in total that will deal 7 plus 13 plus 19 plus 25 plus 31 base damage, I'm going to say, before any other multipliers are considered. And now we move on to the static multiplier portion. The static multiplier portion is basically 1 plus a bunch of other multipliers associated with the static category. And I'm going to just preemptively do some of this entire column here. There's not actually a lot of variables to consider, but let's list them out. So let's say that we have a sin resistance of 0.75. We have a physical resistance of 2, because stagger actually does raise all physical resistances to 2 times. Let's say we have attack defense difference of 3, which means that your attack minus the enemy's defense is 3, positive. What else? Well, let's say we have 2 clashes. Number of clashes, let's say 2. Let's say our observation level is 5. And let's say our crit is false. Okay. So how does that translate into the additive portion? Well, for resistances, we can just do this minus that, and if it's negative, we divide by 2, which is good for us actually. And in this case, it's positive, so it's just plus 2. Attack defense difference. Now, this is a bit of a complicated formula. You can actually just ignore this part if you really don't want to do the calculation, but I'm going to do it here. So it's this times absolute value of this plus 25, which comes out to this much. Number of clashes, pretty simple. It's just number of clashes times 3%. Same with observation level times 3%. And for this one, it's plus 0.2 if true, and if there's no crit, then it's 0. So obviously you can't really crit with W Dawn without doing any shenanigans, so let's just say that W Dawn does not crit. Alright. So moving on to the dynamic multiplier portion now. The dynamic multiplier portion is essentially everything that isn't this. This includes railway buffs. This includes, let's say, fragility. This includes damage bonus. This includes honestly everything. Let me think of something that is actually bad for us. Protection, I suppose, like from the fox. Obviously there's a lot more than this. The game actually has quite a bit, but let's just consider these because those are the most common. Just remember that everything that isn't inside this list is inside the dynamic multiplier category. This includes passives as well, actually. Alright, so as with the static multiplier, you start with 1, and then you add up everything inside the static multiplier category. I'm just gonna add stuff here. So railway 2 buffs. Let's say we got 2 envy buffs, so that would be 40% more damage. Let's say we have 4 stacks of fragility from Rapid Heathcliff, 40%. Damage bonus, I don't think there is an easy way to get envy or slash damage bonus, so let's say 0%. Protection, let's say the enemy doesn't have protection, so 0%. Passives, let's say we get double tap from Blade Lineage Oitis, which is 30% for enemies under 25% health. We can also just go ahead and add envy fragility to this as well, because we can actually get envy fragility from whatchamacallit, Hexnail. I believe that's 30%? Okay. So if we have all of these up, then that becomes 140%, add up to that 100% that we originally have, and we have this much. So our final damage total is just the product. And when you look at that, we do 500 damage with all of these assumptions. Let's add a bit less favorable assumptions. Let's say that we have 2 stacks of protection on the enemy, so that would be negative 20% here, because 2 stacks, each stack is 10%, so that would remove 20% here, and our final damage would decrease substantially. Obviously, blade linear to oitis is very, very unreliable, so we can't really assume that now, can we? Let's see, what else? Let's say that we aren't actually staggered, the enemy isn't actually staggered, so this is just 1. Now our static multiplier decreased, so our final damage on an unstaggered enemy with these assumptions becomes 215 damage. This is typically why you want to deal damage when the enemy is staggered. When the enemy is staggered, your physical resistance is raised 2 times and our static multiplier increases. So yeah, that's about it. That is really all there is to damage calculation. Just figure out which thing goes into which category and multiply it out. Simple as that.